Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Tuesday the 4th of October. I want to use the Tarot of the Cat People again today. I know I used these cards recently, but I really like this deck. So let's see what these cards have to say then about Tuesday. I hope you've had a great start to the week, and let's have a look at what this day is all about. Okay. So first card is the Moon, the Six of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, so the cards are saying to me that if you attempt something that's kind of risky and that makes you doubt yourself, that kind of thing is going to pay off really, really well. And it's important to look at what you can achieve in a particular situation for yourself, independently of other people, by relying on your ideas and your perspective on what's going on and kind of implementing that into what's happening around you. So that could even represent a leadership position, but it's certainly standing your ground when it comes to defending your own thoughts, your own ideas. So with that said, this is a good day then to face any legal things that you have to deal with, or tax returns, or working with your accountant, anything that's quite serious in nature that may fill you with a little bit of reluctance or trepidation. So the Moon in itself, this is a major arcana card, and it shows up later on in the major arcana. So it's the 18th card. There are only 21 cards in the major arcana. So this is when you're really near the end of this journey, and it's higher learning. This is PhD level stuff, because the Moon, and it's beautifully expressed in this deck, and I haven't noticed it before, it's kind of like walking around in the dark and having faith that you're on track and relying on help and guidance, but mainly using your other senses, and the Moon being the intuition and your heart and what you feel, letting your feelings guide you through the darkness instead of trying to figure it out and focusing on maintaining your balance and all those things. So I think most of us like to know where we're at. You know, if we make a plan, we like to have a ticket and a confirmation or something. But in life, it's often a much more subtle kind of journey and approach. And there are things that happen internally for you and decisions you make silently, you know, in the middle of the night that no one else knows about. So this gives you the ability, and it very much reminds me of Scorpio, to get to the truth of what's going on for you and what you're frightened of, and to look at it again and to approach it with some faith and this kind of perspective that says, you know what, this is something you've been thinking about for a while. 10 years ago, it may not have worked and you weren't able to do it. But what about today? Let's have another look in any case. So there are these things that are important to you that have kind of been put on the back burner, and they're demanding your attention today. They're saying you've got the emotional strength and resilience to pick up where you left off with something that is meaningful to you. And the message I'm getting now is, particularly if it raises its head of its own accord during the day, like let's say you're just, you know, typing an email and suddenly you get this memory, this insight into something that you were really interested in 10 years ago. It didn't work out, and that's the kind of thing that this card is referring to. So you're able to overcome fears with that and pick up where you left off. The Six of Wands usually depicts kind of King Arthur riding back into town and everyone applauds him. Here we've got a king who's similarly coming back from some adventure, and he's got an abundance of riches here via these wands. The Six of Wands is about investing in yourself, taking a risk, doing something that's important to you but not guaranteed, like going on the quest for the Holy Grail, or deciding, you know, in the next 6 months, or I'm going to invest in myself for 3 or 4 years and do a course at university or college, not knowing whether you can do it, or whether, I mean, I'm sorry, but this is the way I think, whether I'm even going to be around in 4 years, and whether I should invest in that. And the cards are saying here, invest particularly in things that scare you. because those are, you're afraid of those for a reason. You know, walking around in the dark, you're afraid of that for a reason, because you can bump into something and really like injure yourself. So that's why we all try and turn the lights on. I'm sorry, I'm taking this metaphor to the nth degree, but that's why it's much easier and more comfortable to operate when we know what's going on in the sunlight. Most people, I assume, or I'm speaking for myself, don't use the intuition as the first port of call when making a decision. They look at the paperwork or what their friend says or whatever. Okay, so this kind of pursuit of something that's really important to you is going to pay off. So that means take a risk, do something that kind of deviates from the norm in terms of your everyday life. And then the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is usually a thief sneaking out of camp, and he's got a bunch of swords thrown over his shoulder. And it's someone who, he thinks stealing is okay, first of all. It's fine for me to sneak in here to steal these swords and to take them for myself, because I get richer and I don't really care about the soldiers who've lost their swords. So then you can argue, well, you know, morally, obviously that's not right, but are there, you know, extenuating circumstances? Ultimately, the Seven of Swords is about having real nerve. You know, like if you're by yourself, sneaking into like a soldier army camp, stealing their weapons, I mean, that takes a little bit of self-confidence and even overconfidence in yourself, because you could get caught and really be in trouble. And then also it's that moral gray area of saying, I don't, you know, this is, what's yours is mine. I put myself first. So the Seven of Swords is associated with theft of people's belongings and time and ideas. It's excessive self-interest, and it's kind of pride before a fall. Because if you're doing stuff like that, even if you don't get caught this time stealing, next time you will. I mean, sooner or later, these things catch up to you. So it's playing a dangerous game where you can really get yourself ahead, but it's really not sustainable. So these kind of missions, I've spoken about fear here and reluctance and hesitation. And the Six of Wands also going on a quest that isn't guaranteed. So all of those things feel risky. And sometimes you need the kind of boldness of someone like the Seven of Swords, who's just deluded in the sense of thinking, I can do whatever I want. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, especially if you're facing something really difficult. Sometimes it's better not to know what you're getting yourself in for. That's been my experience anyway. Okay, so here we've got this kind of very regal looking figure, and she's kind of levitating this poor frightened cat here. So again, you see, it's me above the cat and the cat's feelings and comfort. Here they're very regal, these cats. They're like statues almost, and they're kind of observing the king march in. So it's kind of historic and important. And this is like really a hunting cat. Well, like what is this? A jaguar? Or is it? So this is something that really empowers her and helps her. So this is where, you see, by opening yourself up emotionally and the doubts and all of that stuff and revisiting old dreams, you may think, why should I bother? I've got all these other ones. It's because they support you and they strengthen you, and it's the universe giving you something. It's just not delivered on a silver platter. It's kind of delivered on a scary Halloween platter. Okay. All right. Yeah. Number-wise, let's see. We've got the Moon card, which is 18. And 6 is 24. And 7 is 31. Yeah. 13, 18, 31. 3 and 1 is 4. 4 is structure and security in numerology. It's the Emperor in the Tarot. So I take charge of my life. Therefore, I rule the empire and I build something really solid for myself. And then also, if you split the 4, it becomes 22. I'm kind of cheating here because it's not 22. But I think it's relevant because 22 is the master number of the builder. And in my experience, again, usually the things that scare us the most are the things that are worth doing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be scared. We'd just not care. And today you've got this overconfidence, which ought to be poured into something that pays off and becomes a long-term solid thing in your life. This thing can be misused as well. You could let someone have it, which isn't productive at all, or lie or something like that. The Seven of Swords is really, swords are ideas, perspective. The perspective is skewed and it can get you in trouble. So try and channel it into something, overcoming a personal fear. Yeah. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. And I just combine the numbers with the tarot here. I combine those two things with astrology as well in personal readings. And to draw up your chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then you can order a rectification with me, where that's a process where you send me 10 or more life events and I work out your time of birth manually. And then once I've got that, I've got your natal chart in front of me and I can answer any questions you've got. So about fears that you may want to overcome or dreams that have been kind of cast aside, what's really important to you, and where can you really invest in yourself to overcome inner obstacles and external obstacles, or anything at all. If you have questions about finance or relationships or moving, please do get in touch with me. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.